Hi friends, welcome to Happy Nursing. So far we have discussed different types of anemia and their management. Now, as a nurse, it is very important for us to know the nursing aspect of care. The most important thing which keeps us concerned, especially during exams, is writing a nursing care plan. So in today's video, we will make a nursing care plan including nursing diagnosis, expected outcome, and implementation. We will not discuss any evaluation though because there is no actual patient present here. In order to make a nursing care plan, first we have to assess the patient. What do we need to assess? First of all, we have to take the health history of the patient, focusing on the type of symptoms he or she is having. For example, patient may give history like he was apparently well a few days back, but recently he is suffering from severe weakness, fatigue, malaise, etc. The health history should include a medication history because some medications can depress bone marrow activity. An accurate history of alcohol intake, including the amount and duration, should be obtained. Family history is important because certain anemias are inherited. History should be taken about the complaints of nausea, vomiting, with specific questions to the appearance of vomiting, like what was the color or content of the vomitus. Women should be questioned about their menstrual periods, like whether they have any excessive menstrual flow or not, if any other vaginal bleeding is present or not. Next, physical examination should be done because that will also provide important data about some of the symptoms patient is not aware of. For example, pallor of the skin, oral mucous membranes, and sclera. Physical examination also tells us about the type of anemia. For example, jaundice may be present in patients with megaloblastic anemia or hemolytic anemia. The tongue may be smooth and beefy red in iron deficiency anemia. A nutritional assessment is important because it may indicate deficiencies in essential nutrients such as iron, vitamin B12, and folic acid. Strict vegetarians are at risk for megaloblastic anemia. Cardiac status should be carefully assessed. When the hemoglobin level is low, the heart attempts to compensate by pumping faster and harder in an effort to deliver more blood to hypoxic tissue, which is already discussed in previous videos. The increased cardiac workload can result in symptoms like tachycardia, palpitations, dizziness, orthopnea, and exertional dyspnea. Assessment of the gastrointestinal system may disclose melena or dark stools, diarrhea, anorexia, etc. Stools should be tested for occult blood. The neurologic examination is also important because pernicious anemia can affect the central and peripheral nervous system. So the patient should be examined if he is having any peripheral numbness, poor coordination, or confusion. After the assessment and physical examination is over, we are all set to form nursing diagnosis based on the data collected and recorded. The probable nursing diagnosis can be like first of all activity intolerance related to weakness and fatigue as evidenced by patient's inability to perform his daily living activities. Here our goal should be increased tolerance of normal activity. Nursing interventions for this diagnosis can be assessing the fatigue level of patient, like how much is he able to perform his daily living activities. Next, assisting the patient to perform their daily living activities on their own as much as possible. It is also important to assist them prioritize activities and establish a balance between activity and rest throughout the day. Patients with chronic anemia need to maintain a regular period of some physical activity and exercise to prevent the functional decline that results from inactivity. Diagnosis number 2 will be imbalanced nutrition less than body requirements related to inadequate intake of essential nutrients as evidenced by significant loss in patient's weight or low BMI. Here our goal should be maintenance of adequate nutrition. Nursing interventions for this diagnosis can be assessing the nutritional status of the patient, encouraging a healthy and well balanced diet, including all the needed nutrients and minerals. Small, frequent diets should be advised. Patients should be advised to avoid alcoholic beverages because alcohol interferes with the utilization of essential nutrients. Dietary teaching sessions can be conducted according to the food preferences of patients coming from different cultures. Patient and family must be taught the role of nutritional supplements because many forms of anemia are not the result of a nutritional deficiency. In such cases, excessive intake of nutritional supplements will not improve the anemia. Sometimes patients may be at risk for iron overload from their blood transfusion itself. That should be kept in mind. Next diagnosis is ineffective tissue perfusion related to inadequate blood volume as evidenced by desaturation. Patients with acute blood loss or severe hemolysis may have decreased tissue perfusion from decreased blood volume or reduced circulating RBCs. So our goal here will be maintenance of adequate tissue perfusion. Under nursing interventions, vitals should be closely monitored. Semi-powder's position should be given. Lost blood or fluid volume should be replaced with transfusion or intravenous fluids based on the symptoms and the laboratory findings. For example, if hemoglobin level is low, then blood transfusion can be given. If electrolytes are low, then electrolyte corrections can be given. If the patient is only dehydrated or hypotensive, normal IV fluids can be given. Supplemental oxygen should be given to improve the tissue perfusion. Lastly, non-compliance with prescribed therapy related to fear of complications. Goal will be compliance with prescribed therapy and absence of complications. In order to achieve this goal, patients need to be taught about the purpose of the medication, how to take the medication and over what time period, and how to manage any side effects of the therapy. Sometimes patients have difficulty taking iron supplements because of related gastrointestinal side effects like nausea, vomiting, constipation, abdominal pain, etc. The side effects should be managed. Again, due to these side effects, some of them stop taking the iron, but abruptly stopping them can have serious consequences. So, patients and relatives should be advised accordingly. Now, talking about the complications. A significant complication of anemia is heart failure due to diminished fluid volume. So, patients with anemia should be assessed for signs and symptoms of heart failure. In case of fluid retention resulting from congestive heart failure, diuretics may be given. Megaloblastic anemia may cause neurologic complications. Therefore, a neurologic assessment should be performed for patients with known or suspected megaloblastic anemia. Difficulty maintaining balance is also common, so patient's relatives should be advised not to leave the patient unattended. In severe anemia, initially mild and gradually progressive confusion may develop, so patients should be watched over carefully. There may be some other diagnoses also, like ineffective breathing pattern related to hypoxia, self-care deficit related to weakness, fluid volume deficit related to diarrhea and vomiting, and so on. In more serious forms of anemia, patient may have altered sensory perception related to confusion. I hope that will be enough. We discussed plenty of nursing diagnoses. You will never be out of ideas. Hope this video will be useful to you. Thank you for watching. If you find my videos useful, don't forget to like and share my videos and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to click on the bell icon so that you can get the notification of my next video. Bye for now. I will see you soon in another video.